Hey, okay, so this is Justin Mott, and I am doing a reaction video to Baloji. Right off the bat, this one has a more vintage feel than the last one I looked at. They were either shooting on film or doing a film emulation. I can see film grain. That, of course, could be added digitally, but this could have actually been shot on film. It looks a lot like film. So if it's not film, it's a good digital film emulation that they applied onto it beyond just adding film grain. And beyond the digital emulation, I think that this was shot with vintage lenses of some kind. Just looking at the character of the bokeh, this was probably not shot with modern lenses. So once again, if it wasn't shot on actual film, the more I'm watching, I'm thinking it is just a good film emulation with film grain and shot with vintage lenses, but it may have actually been shot on digital. I guess he's singing in French. I don't understand what he's saying, but I like the beat. There's some good close-ups. This is a very standard music video. Nothing wrong with it, just a lot of standard shots. I may, if I do a music video, just try to pull some stills from this one because it has some good shots, just some good standard shots. They didn't go through a lot of different locations or fancy sets or whatever. This is all in this one room, and it looks fine. Also, if you're wondering how I'm watching this, I have a mirror on a chair, and I'm watching the video off of a mirror on a chair. That way I didn't have to digitally add the video in post and sync it. I know you can do it with OBS, but I wanted to use my movie camera, and I can use the movie camera with OBS, but it's more of a pain to set all that up, so I just went with a practical way of watching it. Okay, now that's pretty cool. He's walking, or doing a handstand, moving his legs. That was a perfectly fine music video. They didn't have a bunch of special effects. They went for a more vintage look, not only with the camera, but most likely also the lens was a vintage lens. And if they didn't shoot on film, they did a film emulation and film grain, um, or film emulation with film grain. And then, of course, the outfits were vintage outfits as well, looking like they were probably from the 60s or 70s. Um, not the hippie look, but people that were dressed up going to church. This is a club, but I mean, there's different sects in the 60s and 70s. Some people had some of that leftover stuff from the 50s, and that's kind of the vibe that it had, but it wasn't set in the 50s. The clothing was a little bit more modern than that, so I'm thinking 70s suits and stuff. Could be wrong, but those are my thoughts on it. That it was shot with a vintage lens, most likely, and shot with a digital camera, but a good film emulation was applied to it. It could have been a film camera, but there were a few things that I was thinking a little bit too clean for a film camera. So those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.